At Google, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a very, very active value.
There are some problems that are not apparent. Diversity in media is one of these problems.
For the news ecosystem, it has been our observation that there is a lack of representation.
Existing data on diversity had lots of gaps. Therefore, we initiated a research with Kantar.
Google had a hypothesis and they wanted us to validate that.
So when we saw the research numbers, it was not a surprise to us.
Women representation across media houses, which is only 28%.
When I was with broadcast, I was constantly told that, listen, we are addressing SEC A 40 plus male.
I think there are a lot of biases that are very rampant.
Digital only media houses or digital have a better representation of 43.
Digital is definitely doing better because the diversity element has got synchronized with the nature of the business.
The work environment is a far more equal and liberal work environment.
Most of the digital business right now has come up with this leave policy called the parental leave. Whereas print business and the broadcast business, they still have the maternity leave. These are small nuances of how things become more inclusive.
When I was in the newsroom, you would suddenly see a deficit of women in the middle management.
You start your career level with a good 37% number at entry level, but the way women move across the career roles, the number drops down to only 12% at a senior level.
The number of women who enter this industry and the number of women who fall out of this industry, which is largely triggered by motherhood.
Both from the domestic point of view and workplaces have not been able to come up with an equilibrium of how do we make this work for both.
There is also stereotyping thing. They are not being considered suitable across all the job roles. It's only in HR and editorial you have enough representation for women.
I think the impact of the study is an acknowledgement that a challenge exists, and we then just didn't simply want to put the research out there in the ecosystem and walk away from it. And that's where Avatar came into the picture.
Avatar was commissioned by Google to do some interventions around building awareness in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion for their media partners. The key modules were structured keeping in mind what is the business case, talent case, culture case.
There is a very sound business case for diversity. It leads to a better news product.
When you're in conversation with a brand, that a young woman in that conversation will bring a perspective that makes people sit up and listen, and like I said, it forges then a new path editorially, which people haven't thought of before because largely they were men talking to men in these conversations.
In the Breaking Barriers program, what we essentially do is to ensure that everybody starts visualizing a workplace where no barriers exist.
It helped me introspect as a people leader. And these sessions are such eye-openers. So for me, it was like it starts with me.
This is a first big step, and we hope to keep this conversation going with the help of Avatar as well as all the publishers.
Google's commitment to DEI is long-term. We strongly feel that the media leaders who are participating in this training will be equipped with tools, strategies, and practical approaches, and also build up a framework which is DEI specific.